Actually being the last speaker occupying the stage for the 14 minutes and then too in a Ramzan afternoon is really an arduous journey for the audience. Mr. President, dear Toastmasters and guests, some 1 month ago our soon would be former or ex-president of Karachi Toastmaster Club informed us about a meeting in Toastmaster Club during Ramzan. The house is clearly divided, as we can see even now that more people opted to stay away because of Ramzan complexities. A few, spirited soul, however, sprang into action, including Hassan Jamal, to make Ramzan meeting a reality. And they, after exhaustive back channel negotiations, diplomacy, suggestions, proposals, mainly through WhatsApp, they were successful to make this meeting a reality. In fact, it was a result of a successful negotiations of those back channel meeting. Such negotiation, however, is not the only kind, and certainly not limited to the Toastmaster Club. Negotiations can be done with your boss to raise a salary. They can be done with your parents, your wife, in certain occasion with your husband. If you want to see negotiation in a broader context, just see what is happening in the CPAC related activities. All projects are being executed after successful negotiations. Just see what is happening between our Ministry of Finance and IMF. The result will be successful negotiations, so to speak. Whether it's about the timing and the day of Toastmaster, or the repayment of the markup on CPAC related debts, or the revenue generations on as per IMF criteria, there are a lot of commonalities among all kind of negotiations which are taking place around us. Now, negotiations, when we negotiate, we need to know certain questions which are involved in the negotiations. And I want to involve just that when you sit for negotiation, you should know what is the best possible impact, best possible result, not impact. Now the best possible is different from the ideal possible result. We do not read ideal possible result, we usually see best possible result. The second one is the bottom line. We must know what will be our bottom line, the red line we usually draw, that we do not want to cross it. Thirdly, there will be a plan B. When you enter for a negotiation, you must have a plan B. That if there is a deadlock, then you should have an escape route to leave from the scenario. Apart from these questions, there are certain techniques. For example, you need to be prepared for the negotiations. You should know who your partner that you are negotiating, what his or her term and conditions, and what is your limit to deal with him or her. Secondly, you must anticipate compromise. You should know that somewhere in the middle of the ground you have to take your decisions. You have to be flexible and move from your stated positions. Third, what we call the win-win situation. It may be a cliché now, win-win arrangement. It may be a cliché now, but believe me, the days of lose-win situations are gone. today you win, only the other party also wins, or at least feels as winner. Now, negotiation is sometimes strange, as I told you, because you will go and set negotiation with your wish list, but then leave something less than that and even feel victorious. They are sometimes ridiculous. IMF wants to negotiate with IMF. Sometimes, they are, what I say? Okay, now, based on these negotiations, I want to go to the second part of my speech, which is a conversation with my partner. But let me construct the scenario first. There is a company. Let's say, assume I'm head of the company, and we have a raise of 5% in the salaries of our all employees. One of my employee, who is the head of the finance department, is not satisfied. He needs more than 5%, and the company does not want him to leave the company, because he is a sort of assets. He spent almost all his adult life in the company. So I just want to see the glimpse of this scenario, because we can't do 2 and 3 minutes more than that, and then I'll come to the discussions how a company dealing with his employee, negotiating his term and listening him. Please accept Imran Rana as my partner. Imran Rana, well, I just received an email last night from him, and he wants to talk with me. Hi, Imran, how are you? Well, actually, I called you in my office. I received last night an email from you. You wanted to have a frank discussion over an urgent and important meeting. As you know that I cannot ignore you, as soon as reach here, I've just called you. Now please tell me your issue and tell me it frankly.
Thank you very much, first of all, about your time and for your kind words. Actually, I would like to discuss about the current raise we have made to the employees, that is 5%. Actually, I'm not satisfied with that. Since I'm coming from very far areas, it takes 2 hours to reach me to the office, and I dedicatedly give my time, that is 8 hours, to the company. But the raise you have made is not sufficient for me. So I would like to discuss on that issue. Since your what do we say? You always encourage me in your words, but when it comes to raise, you have put all the horses and donkeys in the same line.
That is it. Okay. Let me explain it one by one. First of all, thank you to join me, and thank you for that sense of humor. I'm sorry for that. Well, I always appreciate your efforts, because you worth it, you deserve it. This, company has registered such a huge profit. One of the reasons is you. There is no doubt in it. Now, you deserve a raise, even more than 5%. But from my side, I would say that if I raise the salary of more than 5% for you, I will face a backlash from the rest of the employees. And that will be a problem for me. Secondly, I know that you are working for the 8 hours. And I also know from the reliable sources that you already was offered by a company for the same salary for 6 hours. So, but try to understand me that the backlash which I will possibly face.
Okay, I know that there's a company policies, but all your appreciation is in kind of words. Means you don't measure those dedication and commitment from my side. But if that's the company policy, then I'm afraid I won't be continuing, since I have a very good offer as far as hours and raise is concerned and the salary is concerned. So if you still stick to the company policy, then I'm afraid that I have to leave.
Okay. No, but we can explore the other things. For example, what about if company refuse to raise your pay, but is ready to cut your working hour from 8 to 6? That will save your driving time, since you are coming from a far flung area.
Okay, since I have no issue with the company, I like the environment, I like the companies as well. Okay, if you guys reduces the working hours and you will promise that within 6 months or 8 months you will able to raise my salary to my standard, my commitment and my dedication, then I'll think about it.
Okay. So then allow me to explore this situation for 10 days, and I'll come, because I think the company will be agreeing to cut your number of hours rather than going for the raise. Just give me a chance to talk a bit.
Thank you very much for considering me, and thank you very much for understanding me.
Oh, thank you. Dear colleagues, as you should see in the conversation, that the both parties basically benefited from this changed scope of work. Both were agreed to listen each other. Both think in a win-win term. Both anticipated compromise coming in the middle ground. And above all, the company had an appreciation for him. Now the implication, company did not lose anything by reducing his 6 hours, or very little by reducing his 2 hours. But company gained by not going to raise overall 5% for all employees. Now, what if I act, well, basically the approach was to move from a deadlock to a win-win arrangement. If, I act like an adversary and just favored the status quo, refused to budge from my side, it was really like waving a red rag into a raging bull. And no, you are not a bull. Because finding a middle ground is important, because no one win from the confrontation only. If there is one, I haven't heard it yet. Had there been a confrontation, had there been had we failed to develop consensus, there would have been no CPEC project. There will not be any IMF package, and there will be no Toastmaster meeting today. Thank you.